Hello everybody, my name is Russell Napier. I'm an investment strategist and I run something called the Karen Napier charity. And for many years I have been meeting wonderful people from Ghana and Scotland who have taught me many things about hard work and perseverance. So I couldn't resist the temptation to come here to Ghana and speak at the What I Wish I Knew event at the NEC Auditorium, which takes place this Friday, 16th of March. See you there.
Professor Napier to the stage.
Hello, good evening. How can I follow that? I can't sing. My name is Russell Napier and I come from Northern Ireland. It's a long way to come. And that's one thing we like to do in Ireland. Have you ever met anybody from Ireland? Anybody? We like to talk. And all Bernard has given me is 25 minutes to talk. Bernard, 25 minutes in Ireland is nothing. So we better get started. Not a good start. Maybe we can try that again. Here we go. Whoops. Again. I'll leave that alone. So where you come from does not make a difference to where you are going. I'm from Ireland and I'm in the middle of Ghana. How did I get to the middle of Ghana? Well, many years ago I started a scholarship program for people from all over the world to attend the University of Stirling. And by accident we picked a scholar from Ghana and he was fantastic, a wonderful scholar. So next year we picked 2 scholars from Ghana. And for 17 years we've been awarding scholarships, but most of them have gone to people from Ghana. So the reason that I've come to Ghana for the first time is to see where all these fantastic people come from. So where you come from doesn't make a difference to where you're going. I never knew I'd be here, and here I am. So I thought we should maybe start by trying to work out what we might have in common. So I want you to put your hand up if you're the first person in your family who's ever been to university. First person in your family to go to university? Yeah? Okay, so we have this in common because I also am the first person in my family to go to university. I want you to put your hand up if you live in a country that has been recently visited by the IMF. My hand is also up because when I was 12 years old, my country was also visited by the IMF. That's the United Kingdom. Was bankrupt, and the country was visited by the IMF. Inflation, when I was 11 years old, was 24%. Okay, we're going to keep going with this. Who here comes from a village of less than 4,000 people? Anybody? Yeah, me too. I also come from a village of less than 4,000 people. Okay, two more. Now this is a very special one. Who here has a father who is a butcher? Anybody here who's a father got a butcher? Nobody? Surely one. No, nobody? Nobody. So my father was a butcher. And another one, a very serious one, is there anybody here who has been brought up in a country that is experiencing a civil war? Yeah? So, me too. I also was brought up in a country that was experiencing a civil war because I lived in Ireland. We lived through something called the Troubles. 3,500 people died. Now, the reason I mention all of this is I want to ask you, how many of these things were important to where I ended up here in Ghana? How many of these things mattered that I came from a small village? That I didn't come from a wealthy family? That my country was bankrupt? That there was a civil war? How many of those things mattered? The answer was none of them mattered. None of them played any role whatsoever. None of them stopped me because none of them mattered, because the people I met in business didn't know. They didn't know. The only person who knew was me. It was up to me. Was this going to be something that I would let stop me? Was this going to be a handicap? And I didn't see any of these things as being a burden. None of these things stopped me, because where you come from doesn't make a difference to where you're going. I'm not saying that all of us have equal opportunities. We don't. People in Ghana don't have equal opportunities. People in America don't have equal opportunities. But you must not allow these things to stop you. You must not allow them to become an internal limit. You must say, well, no one in my village has ever done that, or nobody in my family has ever done that. It's only you who's stopping yourself with those things, because nobody else cares. What they care about is when you walk into the room, are you smart? Are you intelligent? Can you communicate? Are you committed? And these things are things that come from you and not where you come from. We're going to get to number 2 in just a minute. Can we have the next slide, please? Well, while we wait for the next slide, let me tell you what's on the next slide. The most important thing in life, this is the second lesson, is to understand people. Whatever business you're in, almost any business, you need to understand people. Now that is a skill that you don't teach you necessarily in university. These are skills that you learn other places. My job is to talk. I do this all the time. I talk all the time. So where did I learn to talk? Well, I learned it from my father, because my father was a butcher, or what you might say is a trader. So every day he had to try and sell things, and he had to try and sell meat. And I listened to him, and I listened to how he did it, because what he was doing was communicating with people. And by communicating with people, they came to trust him. And by trusting him, they would buy things. And this skill, you learn it every day. You might learn it from your parents, you might learn it on the street, you might learn it from a really great lecturer. But believe me, it is the most powerful thing that you can learn is communication. And it is getting a more valuable skill every day. Why? Because certainly where I live, most kids spend all of their time on their telephones. And by being on the telephone all the time, they're not learning the skills of communication. And as I said, you can learn those skills absolutely anywhere. And also on the sports field. We're really lucky to have the Minister for Youth and Sport here. I was a captain of a rugby team, and by being in a rugby team, I learned to communicate with people and lead people. And that skill has gone with me forward and forward. And the skills of communication are one of the most important things that you will probably ever learn. I'm going to try and skip straight to number 3. Let's see if it works. Oops. Always keep learning. No? Okay, get their attention. No? Okay. Ask stupid questions. You know, the thing that stops people from learning is that they don't like to ask questions. They feel embarrassed. What happens if I ask a stupid question? You know, when you're young, you're allowed to ask the stupid question. When you get to my age, you're not allowed to ask stupid questions anymore. I'm supposed to be the professor, I'm supposed to know the answers. But when you're young, you can ask stupid questions, and that is how you learn. And you must always work for smart people. So whichever organization you find yourself in, find the person that you think is intelligent. So remember, when you come to this university, you have to pay to come to university, you have to pay to learn. But when you're in a company, you get paid to learn. You're not there just to make money. You can learn from everybody in that organization. And you should be looking for the people to say, this is a person that I can learn from. This is the person I need to spend more time with. And if they work in a different department, maybe you should be in that department. And don't worry about the money. Don't go and work for the place where they pay you the most money. If you can work with a really smart woman or a really smart man, it's much better to work for the smart people than just go where they pay you more money. So always try and work for the smart people. We're going to go to number 4, which is about incentives. Slide number 4 is a quote from Charlie Munger, which says, never ever think about anything else when you should be thinking about incentives. Now, Charlie Munger, you probably know, is the sidekick for Warren Buffett. And the interesting thing about Charlie Munger, he's been very successful and made a lot of money, but he doesn't really analyze companies. Warren Buffett analyzes the companies. Charlie Munger analyzes the people. Have we got the right people running the company? And have they got the right incentives? Show me incentives and I'll show you outcomes. So what I've learned, what I wish I knew, is every time you walk into a room, work out the incentives for that person to be there. Is it money? Is it prestige? Is it arrogance? Is it greed? And if you can work out why they want to be there, what their incentive for being there is, then you can probably work out which direction they're going to go in, what the outcome is going to be. And it's really important in business and in life to understand what is incentivizing people. Some people are not incentivized by money at all. They're incentivized by other things. And if you're going to motivate those people and communicate with those people, you need to understand what motivates them. And I would say probably the most important of the lessons that I've learned is to try and work out what incentivizes people if you're going to work with them. And don't always assume that it's necessarily money. Number 5, crowds are different from individuals. People think differently by themselves than when they're in a crowd. There is a magic number for this. It's about 16 people. Once you get more than 16 people together, they begin to think the same. They don't disagree. They don't like to disagree. It's something that is socially hardwired into all of us, not to really want to disagree with somebody. So this is what you need to do before you go into a room. Write down what you think you want to say in the meeting. Write it down on a piece of paper. And then go to the meeting and listen to what everybody says. And maybe they'll change your mind. Maybe you'll learn some new facts that you didn't know before, and maybe you think I had the wrong opinion. But maybe they won't. In which case, read out what was on the piece of paper. Even if your boss said something completely different. Because that's what happens in crowds. You as the individual, you spent your entire life learning, working hard, and then you find yourself in the group. And in the group, you forget it all. And you just agree with everybody else. And people come to realize that you have a value in the group. And your value in the group is that you don't necessarily agree with everybody. You're the person who's prepared to have a different opinion, an independent opinion. And we must always remember that crowds decide and behave things different from individuals. So try to be the individual. I can tell you it's very, very hard. It's very, very difficult to be the individual and disagree with other people. But form your opinion and try and stick to your opinion, and the value of that will come out over time. Listening is something which is underestimated and undervalued. I'm standing here now and I'm talking to you. And I spend a lot of time talking because it's my job and it's my business. But I know that in this 25 minutes when I'm talking to you, I won't learn anything. I won't know anything more than when I stood up because I'm just giving out and giving out. You cannot learn anything when you're talking. You can only learn when you're listening. And often in meetings, it's the guy in the back of the room or the woman in the back of the room who says nothing until the very end who makes the best contribution. Because they were listening. Other people weren't listening. They had something they wanted to say. They wanted to get involved, but they didn't listen. So the fastest way to learn is to listen. And you might go to a meeting and say, but I can't learn from these people. I think they're all stupid. Now that's a very arrogant thing to say, but maybe you think, I'm learning nothing here. Well, you can learn things from stupid people as well. You can learn what not to do. There are hundreds of books, written about Warren Buffett, the great investor, and everybody reads these books, but there's only one Warren Buffett. It might be very, very difficult to learn from clever people. Otherwise, we just learn everybody would be Warren Buffett. Even when you hear people saying things that you don't agree with and you think are stupid, you are learning a very important lesson and what not to do. And what not to do is one of the important lessons that I wish I'd known then. The next, we've only got a few more to go, there are 10, so the next one, hopefully will pop up in a second, is never trust a forecast with a decimal point. And it is going to come up. Well, I'll leave it to a gentleman over here. Here we go. Now, this relates to something that is once again essential to being a human being. Human beings don't like uncertainty. Now, we can prove that. Psychologists have proved it. The whole insurance industry is based on the fact that people don't like uncertainty. That's why we insure our house or insure our motor car. Because we don't like the uncertainty of losing that large capital asset. An uncertain world is a world that most people hate. But yeah, this is the interesting thing about being a human being. We all live in an uncertain world. Each and every one of us lives in an uncertain world, yet we hate uncertainty. So my advice to you is learn to cope with uncertainty. You will never, ever master that. It is painful and difficult and dangerous, but you don't have to master it. You have to be slightly better than everybody else. If everybody hates uncertainty, but somehow you're the one person who can walk into an uncertain situation, everybody else takes a step back, but you take a step forward, then guess what happens? People turn to you. Next time there's some uncertainty, they say, well, this is the guy or this is the woman who can cope with uncertainty. This is the person we should turn to. And once again, this is not something that necessarily comes from a university. It might come from your real life. Many people in this room will have faced huge uncertainties, and you have coped with those uncertainties, and you have gone forward, and you have something to tell your colleagues. You have something to teach about how we all cope with uncertainty. And that's why I mentioned the decimal point. The future is very difficult to forecast. And anybody who forecasts the future with a decimal point is showing a degree of certainty. They're telling you, I'm pretty certain this is what's going to happen. And therefore, they're probably deluding themselves. And people who are very, very certain about the future are probably very, very dangerous. They don't know the future. They might know it slightly better than you. They might know it slightly better than me. But as soon as they put a decimal point in there, they're creating an image of a certainty that they have that is not true. And yet we like it. We like the decimal point. We like their certainty. That's what we pay for. So they deliver certainty, but they don't actually know it. So always be cautious if someone comes to you and forecasts the future with great certainty. The life is more difficult than that. And therefore never use a decimal point yourself in a forecast. Because you're just fooling yourself. And there's only one thing more dangerous than having somebody walk into a room who's too certain and is fooling themselves, and that's you fooling yourself. So remember, the future is difficult, the future is risky, and beware of people who offer too much certainty. I think the next point deals probably with exactly the same point of uncertainty. So your job is to learn to cope with that better than others. And that doesn't mean doing dangerous things. I'm not suggesting you all go hang gliding. Not that type of risk. But when that risk comes, that uncertainty comes, be the person in your organization who wants to take the step forward. And that will be a huge benefit to your career. So this is, well, maybe this is the most important thing. Would you do this if your mother knew about it? In business, you will be asked to do things that you are uncomfortable with. Some of it might be illegal, hopefully not, but just it might be morally, you may not like doing it. So, but if your boss asks you to do something, you're in a very, very difficult situation. So you have to imagine that your mother is standing beside your boss. And when your boss asks you to do this difficult thing, this thing that you don't like to do, you think is morally wrong, would you be prepared to tell your mother about it after you've done it? And if you don't want your mother to know that you've done this, don't do it. You have to stand up to your boss and say, no, I'm not doing that. I don't feel that's the right thing to do. And that, there are many ways to talk about ethics and morality, and you can read many books about it, but here's a very simple guide. If you don't want your mother to know about it, in the business table, in the business room, don't do it. Number 10, it's just about to pop up. Next slide, please. Or number 9. So let's go to number 9, and then we'll do number 10, and that is almost there. So this comes from a poem, and Professor Campbell was talking about risk, and I want to talk about risk. And it says this: only a person who risks is free. The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change, and the realist adjusts the sails. So when you go sailing, you're on your own. You're there in your boat. There's no room for pessimists. There's no room for optimists. There's just rooms for realists when you're faced with risk. So don't be frightened of risk. Make sure you step up into a risky situation, because only a person who risks is free. If you ever end up in prison, there is no risk. The place in the whole world with the least risk is a graveyard. Nobody in a graveyard is taking any risk. So don't be afraid of risk. Accept risk. Learn to be better at it. And finally, number 10. You will often find people in business who will tell you that they have been successful because they are smart and they work hard, and that is not true. It is not true. You also have to be lucky. Yes, you have to work hard, and yes, you have to be intelligent, but you have to be lucky. And so many people who work hard and are intelligent are just unlucky. So I will finish on this note. If you are fortunate enough to be successful, remember that quite a lot of your success is entirely based on luck. And it is my belief that your job is to try and spread some of that luck to other people. Realizing that some of the wealth that is accrued to you has come entirely randomly, and that your job is to make sure that other people get more luck, and that luck is more equally distributed. So 10 points, 25 minutes, it's delightfully Indiana. I hope that some of that stays with you. I hope that some of that is useful. And thank you very much to everybody for attending and inviting me to speak.